Hey, everybody, welcome to Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here at the Miserable Liberal and Ron Placone, who will be in New Orleans and Texas in March. RonPlacone.com. Check it out. We've got a new poll. U.S. voters back Democratic plan to reopen the government by a 2-1 margin. The poll finds more U.S. voters say President Trump's TV address was misleading. Whoa, what? Again, now this is a tough thing for Trump voters to handle. I'm not a Trump voter. I was not a Hillary voter. You know that. I voted for Jill Stein. American voters support 63 to 30% a Democratic proposal to reopen parts of the government that do not involve border security while negotiating funding for the wall, according to a Quinnipiac University national poll released today. So that's not good for Trump. Again, people are wondering, or maybe not, you should be wondering, hey, Trump had complete control of government. The Republicans had the Senate and the House, and he had the White House. Why didn't they try to build a wall then? Why is he just shutting it down now when he knows the Democrats will oppose it? And, well, it's because he's playing you. That's why. And there already is a wall on the border. Where there should be a wall, there is a wall. Where there isn't, they use electronics. And illegal immigration, is at a low since the 1970s. It's down from around 2 million a year down to around 170,000. And the majority of people who are undocumented immigrants are here because their visas expired, not because they came across the border. So Trump is manufacturing a pretend crisis so he can play you, his base. That's all this is. And this poll is telling me that some of you see through him, which is fantastic. That's good. People who come to my show, they watch the show, and then we get to help you see through the bullshit that you got duped by with Trump. I got duped by Obama. You got duped by Trump. Here it is. Every party, gender, education, age, and racial group supports this idea, except Republicans, who are opposed 52 to 39. So they do not. So the Republicans are opposed to the Democrats' plan, 52. But that's narrow as far as I'm concerned. That's pretty. So almost. Well, 39. So I guess the rest of those are undecided, right?
Mm-hmm. But that means nearly 40%.
Yeah, that's
are still for it. I mean, yeah, that's
40% are for it. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Voters oppose 63 to 32% shutting down the government to force funding for the wall, the independent Quinnipiac University. Blah, 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 blah. Again, Republicans are the only listed group supporting the shutdown, 67 to 24%. The GOP is losing the battle as 56% of American voters say President Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress are responsible for the shutdown, while 36% say the Democrats are responsible. So that's not good. If you're seen as responsible for the shutdown of government, that's always a loser. It could change this time, but I don't see it.
Well, what's interesting is that Donald Trump himself is part of that 56%. He put it on himself back in December.
You're right. He said, I'll take the heat for it.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Voters remain solidly opposed to a wall on the Mexican border by 55 to 43% and reject every argument for the wall. The 55 to 43% opposition compares to 54 to 43% opposition in December, just before the partial shutdown. So it moved a little. American voters are negative in every question about the wall, saying 59 to 40% that it is not good. It's not a good use of taxpayer money. 55% of Americans say that the wall will not make the U.S. safer. 43% of Americans say the wall will make us safer. 59% say that the wall is not necessary to protect the border. So that's good. 6 out of 10 people realize that. By the way, there's already walls on the border where it's easy to build and it makes sense. 60% think the wall is not necessary to protect the border. So 60%. That's a big number. And 50% say the wall is against American values, as 41% say the wall is consistent. So 40% say the wall is consistent with our values, and over 50% say it's not.
Well, I think the 41%, they misread the transcript. They read, build a wall around your tired, poor, and huddled masses, or something like that. That they just misread it.
I think they misread that.
Mm.
So you remember when Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer gave their response, right, to the Trump's immigration speech last Tuesday? It was horrible. They looked like characters from a South Park.
They look like someone was explaining a camera phone to them for the first time. Like they were posing for it, and they're like, "So we just sit here like this, and we just look straight ahead, just straight ahead. That's what we do, straight ahead."
What is a rim job? Voters are divided on the response by the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, as 38% found it mostly accurate and 39% found it mostly misleading. So more people found it misleading than accurate. Look at that.
99% found it mostly spineless.
Well, let me just tell you how bad this is. So only 38% agreed with their presentation. Meanwhile, the majorities agree with their position, but they still don't like these two motherfuckers. That's what that is.
Yeah.
They agree with their position in every way we just showed you. In every way they agree with their position, but when those two come out to sell it, I don't like them. I'm with you, by the way, on that. I would be in the 38% on this one, or the 39% who don't like them. There is a security crisis along the Mexican border. Well, American voters, 54 to 43% say there is. And 68% say there is a humanitarian crisis. So I think a lot of those people who are saying there's a crisis, they also see it as a humanitarian crisis, which is what it is. I mean, okay. Again, keep in mind, illegal immigration down almost an all-time low. Just so you keep that in mind. Down 90% since the year 2000. That's another number. Illegal immigration down 90% since 2000, and most of the people who are here illegally or undocumented are here because they overstayed a visa, which means they got into the country legally. So that means this is all a pretend problem. The border, I mean. And while they believe there is both a humanitarian and security crisis along the southern border, they absolutely don't think a wall will solve the problem. This is all from the Quinnipiac poll. Okay, so there you go. I mean, I think we got all the big numbers. We got them. So people are, here's all the big numbers. They're right kind of in here. 60% say it's not a good use of taxpayer dollars to do the wall. That's 6 out of 10. That's pretty, 55% the wall would not make us safer. 60% say the wall is not necessary to protect the border. And 52% say it goes against. So every one of these questions comes down in favor of the Democratic position, yet people still don't like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer.
That's true. And if we lived in a country where public opinion actually mattered to the people running the country, the government would be open again tomorrow. But this is just another for instance, and there are many for instance, where public opinion doesn't matter. Why? Well, because we live in an oligarchy.
That is correct. We'll see how. Do you have any predictions on Trump gets out of this? I thought they were going to do a deal on DACA, that he would tell the Democrats, "I'll give you your DACA if you give me the wall." And I thought that he was going to say, "I won," and the Democrats could say they won too. That doesn't seem to be happening. I don't know what's going to happen. Do you have any idea, either of you?
I think it might be like he just caves, but then tries to put it on them and like.
Well, he already caved a
spin
little because he said steel barrier from a wall.
Mm-hmm.
So he already caved a little.
Yeah, the like little fence thing.
Yeah,
with the pictures.
that
And
it
then
turns
we
out
found out that
you can
those
saw-
steel barriers
saw
can be
through it.
sawed through.
You can
Yeah.
saw through.
I think that might be like it's going to go further. He's going to just give in, but then like try to just spin it because he's a PR guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there you go. There's the polling. People hold the president responsible. People they don't think it's a good use of taxpayer dollars. Again, and people will say in the comments, Jimmy, open borders. I'm not an open borders guy. Everybody's for strong borders. That's not what this is about. And this is also about, the wall would be a symbol of kind of embracing his demagoguery where he demonizes immigrants. Because we all know well, first of all, it's kind of interesting. Let me go back through here. President Trump's TV address to the nation last week was mostly misleading. 49% of the voters said that. While only 32% said it was mostly accurate. That's a good stat. So, actually, Nancy and Chuck did a little bit better than Trump did on the believability. Trump only got 32%, while the Democrats got 38%. Only 2% of voters said the TV address changed their mind. Well, 89% said it did not change their mind about building the wall. So 9 out of 10 people that speech did nothing to, only 2%. Among voters who believed Pelosi and Schumer, more than 46, so those were independents. So look at that. So the Pelosi and Schumer did a little better with independents. They disapprove. People of 65% disapprove of Trump using the emergency executive powers to fund the wall. All these numbers are bad for Trump. Every one of these numbers.
Yeah, and this also kind of echoes something that, like, a lot of people have been saying for a long time. Public opinion was never really for the wall at all.
Right. Well, the Republican congressman whose district borders Mexico has the biggest landmass that borders. He ran opposing the wall. He's a Republican.
That's right.
He ran in a Republican district that borders Mexico. He ran on a platform of opposing the wall, and Republicans elected him twice.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, in this thing we went through, 89% of people, it didn't change their mind because they're already against it. They've been against it for a long time. They know what's at stake, and they're like, yeah, this isn't a good idea.
Here's something interesting. 63% of the people say undocumented immigrants are not more likely than American citizens to commit more crimes. Now, again, people who don't understand how statistics work, which I'm one of them, you should know that doesn't mean that immigrants don't commit crimes. That means that natural-born citizens commit crimes at a higher rate. That's what it means.
You know, Jimmy, I'm more frightened of the crimes committed by Wall Street.
I know, me
than
too.
The crimes committed by an undocumented immigrant. I mean, because we see what happened to our friends who had homes and were thrown out of the homes because of Wall Street.
That's right. Most voters say they like immigration. 73% say they think it's good. Even almost 60% of Trump voters say it's good for our country. But of course, we're talking about illegal immigration. That's what they would say. Everybody's for legal. That's what they would say. So
and I just want to say the reason why we're in this situation is because it's the failing of the Democratic Party.
I agree. Well, what do you mean in a government shutdown? We're in a government shutdown.
We're in a government shutdown. The reason why Trump came into power
was
was because the
Democrats failing. Yeah, that's definitely true. And that's why they're talking about Russia, so they don't talk about how horrible the Democratic Party is that people couldn't bring themselves to vote for it. So we'll see. There you go. So none of those numbers look good. Now you can just go and say, "Hey, that poll's bullshit." You can do that. Which some polls are bullshit, but I'd have to see the data. I'd have to see how you work that data. If you like our content, looking for ways to help support, here's a great mug or a t-shirt or a thing. You can get it right underneath there, or you can become a patron to our show. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Plus, come see a live Jimmy Dore show. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our live shows. And make sure you're subscribed. I know it sounds crazy, but they unsubscribe people from our show all the time, and you have to click that bell so they send you a notice when we drop a video. Thanks for your support.